Hey everybody, and welcome back. In this video, what we're going to talk about is the movement of the lead arm. So remember, in Hogan's waggle, when he's waggling, see how this forearm is rotating, but it's rotating because the hands are rotating. So when this lead arm is rotating and he's, doing all these things, now there is a bunch of stuff that he does in his waggle and his setup that prepare him for the things that are going. He's creating feels for what's going to happen through the impact area, believe it or not. We're going to get into that in another video. But the importance of this lead arm is that, and it's also the reason that I wore this shirt today, because it's got a line right here, right in the center. It's two-tone. There's a line right in the middle. So my intent is when I've done my waggle and I'm getting everything set up and, I'm where I need to be. And then there's the waggle. And when the waggle happens, it's reminding him really the path of the plane that this is going to be on, okay? But what you want to do is, like, a lot of people take their hands and they want to move them down the line. So when I move my hands down this way, this lead shoulder drops like this, and that's not really what's happening. This lead shoulder has to feel like it is going around you, okay? And because we're set up in our our secondary tilt with doing it the way I've told you to do it, it feels like this left shoulder is going to stay high because my spine angle is like this, and it's just like I'm just moving around it. So all of a sudden this left shoulder stays high right to about right there. When we've taken it away to right there, now we're going to reroute the club, and what it feels like, I've got to get this left elbow on the same line as my chest. There I am every single time. And see how that left arm is straight because it's across my chest. What's the importance of this? Hogan said when he swung a golf club that it felt like his lead arm was across his chest. Plain as day. And this is why, because it was. So if we look at it this way, we've got all our good moves and we've come to right there. See how this lead elbow is in line with my chest, or really this part of my rib cage right here where this line is at on this shirt. So all of a sudden it's like, wow, it couldn't be any easier than that. And then as he goes to the top, it's right there. And by having this left lead arm move across my chest in this way, it really creates this massive connection with the trail arm, the tricep and the tricep being connected to the rib cage. The elbow's not pinned against my body, okay? But this lead arm, as it moves across, will pin the trail arm to where it gets real easy to start keeping the elbow down back here and having the arm move across the chest. And then when you're coming down, it's going to stay across the chest. So let me show you what I mean by that. I moved it here, and then I've gone to the top, and there's my rebalance. Now, a lot of people are going to go like this, and see how this arm is now, the lead arm is now dropped below the chest. But what Hogan was doing, if you saw the elbow drill and how to do that, watch what happens. When he's in transition, the elbow is staying above on that same line as the chest. Then when he's coming through, it's like that, and then he'll come up and release the club. So this lead arm staying across the chest is extremely, extremely important in everything that we're doing. So make sure you pay attention to it. It's very simple to do, but you've got to move the trail arm, the lead arm, into a position that's going to force the connection of the trail arm. And the only way that's really going to happen is if you move it across your chest. Because when I move the lead arm across my chest the way I'm describing, it creates this pressure on the top part of my rib cage here with the tricep being connected to me, which in essence is keeping the elbow down. So all of a sudden we're like, aha, now I've got this tension or pressure, and then I'm just gonna maintain that pressure in the lead arm and in the back arm, but it's because I'm allowing the arm to move across my chest that is allowing this to stay connected. A lot of people, what happens, they'll go like this and they'll start moving this club up here, which, see the difference? It's not across my chest, it's lifted up. And when it lifts up, oh my goodness, I lose this connection. I lose the load that I'm trying to create. But if I get here and I move it there, the second I move my lead arm across my chest, I feel the connection with the tricep and the side of the rib cage. So what is that telling me? I have moved the lead arm in such a way that it is creating pressure. And then when I'm coming down, that pressure is still being maintained as I come into the hit. So we can understand Hogan was a genius in the way that he wrote the book, in the way that he's done everything he's doing, or did, I should say. The reality is simple, guys. His book is like the Bible. Now, this is not about saying, hey, your swing has to look exactly like Ben Hogan's. It doesn't. But you have to understand, when you move this across, the second you move this across, you're going to feel it. And you're going to be like, it cannot be this simple. And it can be when you truly understand why he was doing certain things. And those certain things, of course, he's got the waggle, he's got his setup. We're going to take this away. And as soon as we start taking it away, there's the left arm. And the second this left arm gets to this level, which is going to be left arm parallel to lead arm parallel to the ground in the backswing, but it's not here parallel to the ground. It's slightly at an angle inward, and it's parallel to the ground here, but at this angle. So all of a sudden we're like, the second this thing is across my chest, you will be amazed at the connection you feel in the tricep ribcage connection. Pretty simple. I had some people ask me some questions on some of the other videos, and they're like, Chris, when I get this trail elbow this close to my body, it's very difficult for me. I feel like I'm losing distance. Well, the reason why is because the lead arm is not functioning correctly. So if you go under and try to keep this elbow like pinned to your side, hell, that would be very hard for me to hit a golf shot too, and I'd probably lose distance. But if you can move this lead arm correctly and get it to move across your chest, the second you do that, see how it's lifted the elbow? The elbow's still pointing down, but the connection is so tight right here in this area that now with the left arm or lead arm moving across the chest, now I've got the load and the strength right here in this, and I can feel it, which is the amazing part. But if I take my hands up here and I go like this, I can't feel anything. I'm so disconnected from my body that it creates problems. But if I just move it across my chest, it loads this right trail side of the body here, and then we're just able to come in and hit the shot at will. Okay, so for those of you struggling with keeping the elbow down and you're losing distance, make sure you do this with the lead arm. Again, look at my shirt. This is where my lead arm is going, right on this line. Just like that. Here, simple. I'm not turning down, because again, if I turn down and I get to this point, my lead arm should be up here by this point, but it's down here. And if I tilt and go here, my lead arm is way underneath this line that it should be at right here. Okay? So again, this lead arm is going to help you tremendously when you start letting it work across your chest. And remember, it's not just me telling you this. That's what Hogan said. It feels like my left arm is glued to my chest and moving across my chest. So across is not, that would be under. That would be like maybe it's getting there, but the intent is going to be for you to pick it up. And now it's above that line. But if I just move it this way and then across my chest, you'll automatically feel the load at the top of your backswing, which is very, very cool. Then from there, you'll be able to move it across your chest. Now when you're coming down, See how it's still across my chest? And then when I come down, that's the release and everything happening. And then it's gonna, you know, come here like this, and then you'll get over like that. So it's just real simple. You'll be here, and then it'll come up like this over here. So, you know, when we could put these things together, you can start understanding the importance of what everything that Hogan was talking about. But this arm, because of the waggle, and when he waggles with this lead arm, watch what's happening in the forearm. The wrist is going like that, and when it goes like this forearm starts to rotate. And when that happens, the right is kind of following suit, and this right elbow is going like this. So now all of a sudden it's like, okay, the lead arm is extremely important. Why? Because it's holding these angles together. It's not the right, but anyways, it's just across the chest, right across the chest. And then you'll get to the top, and then everything is going to work out like there is no tomorrow for what you're doing, because you'll finally have that elbow, the back elbow in the right place by the movement of what is happening with the lead arm. All right, everybody, we'll see you in the next video.